This is one of the baits that I like using when I run a Texas rig. So I'm using a Eagle Claw laser sharp EWG hook. It's an offset. So Texas rigging, you take your bait, take your hook. You can see the offset on the hook. So anyway, you take it and you run it through the backside of the bait and run it out. See how I did that? Just kind of hooked it in right there. Run your bait all the way up. There we go. So now you got your bait and your hook sticking out. So you just take the hook, turn it back on itself, run it back through the bait, and that's a Texas rig. Now there's two different types. If you look right here, you can see how the point of the hook sticking out. And what I like to do is push the bait up a little bit and skin hook it. See how the point's just kind of stuck right there in the skin. Now you can run it in a way where you just kind of put it in the core and it doesn't come out. Either way is good, but if you run it into the core, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna have to set the crap out of that hook to catch a fish. Either way works, but you're gonna have to set the hook a whole lot harder if you just hook it in. If you run your tip, the tip of your hook, the point of your hook into the core of the bait. Again though, you hook the bait, you turn the hook back on itself, and you come back through the bait and you skin hook it, and it's honestly as simple as that. But what's really cool is honestly, you can Texas rig just about anything, just about any kind of bait. You can use small hooks and weights. You can even, honestly, you can Texas rig little finesse baits, just very tiny little baits and stuff like that. You can use straight shanks, which is, I think I got one in here with me. Straight shank hooks, and I mean, the name pretty much tells you exactly what it is. But straight shank, just a straight hook with a bend on it. You can use those in Texas rig. Like I'm using right now, you can use the EWG Texas rig that way. And honestly, you know, just depending on the size of the hook that you're using, it creates a different angle. It creates a different way of the fish getting hooked. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. I gotta get set again. Doggone wind's blowing me everywhere out here today. We're out here in a little private pond, little honey hole, man. There's only a few people that know about this spot, and we're gonna keep it like that. Probably one of the best fishing spots ever. Anyway, you can run a Texas rig, like I said, with a straight shank, with an offset EWG, but I'll show you the straight shank here in just a minute and show you kind of what I mean when I say different hook angles. So if you look at, I don't know what I did with that hook, I just had a hook in my hand, but so if you look at the straight shank, the one that I just showed you, I'll show you again. Straight shank hook, just a straight hook. So if you Texas rig with a straight shank hook, same concept, same thing. This is a lunker log. It's a Senko, but it's Guggen's version of it. But lunker log, white lunker log. If y'all can't tell, I really like the color white. Anyway, Texas rigging with a straight shank hook, straight shank bait, same exact thing. Run it in the top of the bait, come out the side just like that, run it in, turn it back on itself, and stick it in, just like that right there. But now, see, the difference with a straight shank is, if you can see the tip, the point of the hook, let me get my big old head out of the way. The point of the hook does not go in the bait. Now you can skin hook it, but honestly, it makes your bait's not going to swim right. So what the straight shank hook does is it gives you kind of an angle. It gives you an angle with the point of that bait, and what it does, honestly, it makes it less weedless. There's good things about both ways of running that Texas rig, with a straight shank, with the EWG, but the angled hook practically, I mean, in all honesty, it's a lot easier. The angled hook practically sets itself because the hook's sticking out. So when the fish bites the hook goes straight up into their mouth. So yeah, the straight shank on a Texas rig, probably the easiest way to do it. It's not my preferred way. I like running it weedless. I like using the EWG and skin hooking it. But like I said, I mean, there's good things about both ways of running that Texas rig. Good things about using both types of hooks while doing that Texas rig. Trying to navigate again. Like I said, the angled hook, man, it practically sets itself. But I also, like I said, I like that flat, flush way of doing it, because the fish in my opinion tend to hit more when it seems more natural. I've had, and a lot of people say it's crazy, you know, whatever, but I've had fish I feel like I've had fish not hit baits because of the way the hook is laid on the bait, because of the way the hook is in the bait. But whatever, you know, you can catch fish in using either type of hook when it comes to a Texas rig. One of the biggest things I've noticed with the skin hook method is that my baits hold up a lot longer. When I skin hook that bait, when I do it like I was showing you a minute ago with the Bandito bug, when I skin hook that bait where the point is not sticking out of the bait, I've noticed that my bait goes a lot longer without tearing. It goes a lot longer without getting messed up. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I go through a lot of bait. I go through a lot of bait with tears and all, and I'm sure my wife hates it because I am constantly buying more bait. But again, I have found that with that skin hook, the skin hook method, the bait tends to hold out better. It doesn't rip as much when bass hit. It just doesn't. Not that the straight shank, you know, not that the baits can't hold up on the straight shank, but I've noticed that skin hook helps with preserving the bait, if you will. But again, I like that skin hook more. That's my preferred way of doing it. You do have to set your hook a little bit harder. I feel you do have to set the hook a little bit harder when you skin hook. But see, if a fish hits this, they have to fully grab. They have to fully grab in order for the hook to come out of the skin and pierce them. Like I said, with the straight shank, you know, the other way of doing it, the hook is at an angle, so the fish just simply has to bite it, and the hook goes straight up into the top of their mouth. He's hooked. But with the point out, with the point of the hook sticking out, I feel that you deal with a lot more snagging and a lot more tearing. The bait actually itself, the bait itself tearing more. But honestly, it's all left up to you and your opinion. Skin hook, EWG, straight shank, angled point. It's all left up to your opinion. And like I said, it's really just depends on the type of coverage that you're fishing. If you're in thick grass and, you know, trying to run weedless, EWG with a skin hook all day long. If you're in open water and you're just bouncing the bait off the bottom and there's no, you know, nothing that you're trying to, no coverage that you're trying to run through, straight shank with an angled hook. They both work. They both produce fish, and they're both easy rigs to use. Now, I also, one of the things I didn't show you, I also like running the bullet weights on top of mine. There you can see. see it there. When I run a Texas rig, that to me, I mean it's, you know, simple. It helps the bait sink down to the bottom more, and it gives it that more flow, that more natural flow when it's going down. But yeah, lastly, the Texas rig, when you use a Texas rig, I like using the bullet weights, and you can use them in all sizes. The weight sits at the nose of the bait. You can see it sitting right there on top. This is a smaller bullet weight. This is a I want to say it's a 1/16 of an ounce bullet weight. But the weight sits at the nose of your bait, and it gives it that consistency of a jig almost, but with a whole lot more weedlessness, and that's the biggest thing about Texas rigs. So with all of that, there is your basics of Texas rigging. So let's go fishing.